when I was first coming, I had the same question in my head. Because we had public speakers that we're looking up to when we're coming up. And we see them wearing fine suits, going to speak. I'm like, wow, we wanted to look like them. We wanted to be like them. Until we learned. Right? So whatever it is that you are good at, you are doing for work, your whole preoccupation should be to blow it up, like we taught today. Your standard, we must blow it up. This country, I don't want to use that slang, say, they'll pour you spit. I don't like that slang, it's very dirty. But this country, oh my God, this country will shame you for poverty. It's not fair, but it's just the way Nigeria is. The same you that will go and give your life speaking and blessing people, imparting people, the day they discover you are broke, it can be so cruel. All these people, they live fake life. Say they go down get, why should not invest? They just use the word invest very loosely, like you know what it means. Why should not invest now? And never get. So I learned early. Take care of my handwork. Then maybe the remnant of my time, I can now go and do speaking here and there. And when you even go and do your speaking, you can show up powerfully, right? You can show up with conviction. And, you know, have you ever gone to speak somewhere and the amount of money you are donating to support their work is more than what they haven't given you to come? That's what kings do. Yeah? So that's the game. Okay? All right. This gentleman has been trying to ask a question for a while. Let's give him. It's inevitable at this point that I step up because of the acoustics.
Thank you so much, Mr. John.
Thank you, sir.
Please, can we please celebrate him for the amazing sessions? Thank you very much. I came from Imo State.
From Imo State?
Yes, for these sessions. And I wanted to ask 2 questions that are off the sessions. So I joined night school, and you talked about high-level networking. So you mentioned how you talked with someone in Dubai about cryptocurrency and all that. So not the usual giving of card or something. There's a way you explained it, but you didn't explain it well.
High-level networking?
Yes, please.
Okay, so were you here for second service?
Yes, I was here from yesterday.
Okay. So it still comes from the standard. What is your standard? All right? Everything we do it as kings. We don't ever do anything like the masses do. All right? When a poor man wants to network, he comes from a beggarly position. When the Queen of Sheba wanted to network with Solomon, how did she do it? She came with gifts. When she was going back, how did Solomon respond? He sent her back with, all right? Poor man will collect gift and say favor. That's not how kings do, right? So when you talk about networking, there are higher level ways of doing it. For example, there are some people who, if there's an event where the person they want to network with is a speaker, they do everything they can not to be in attendance, but to be a speaker as well. Right? And I give you as an example of a movie, We Crashed. It's a series, actually. We Crashed is a series about Adam Newman, the founder of WeWork, about how the rise and fall of WeWork, and how when he was trying to get investments for the early days of WeWork, there was someone he wanted to meet at an event somewhere in Europe. He did everything he could to be one of the speakers. When he finally came, he was there speaking. It's not the audience he was talking to. It's just that one guy. And he actually got that guy as an investor. So high-level networking is knowing who do you need to be around. What do you think is most valuable to them? Do your research. Before you get there, you're already presenting that solution. Everybody else is coming beggarly with their card. Please, sir, those cards go into the trash bin. Plenty. Oh, please, sir, I do I don't care what you do. But if you know something that this guy is into, that he needs, you say, oh, I saw that your company does this. I have a couple of ways that we can do it better. I've prepared this little pamphlet for you to just go through. Steps 1, 2, and 3 will increase your revenue by 300%. Instantly, you have rented space in people's heads. So high-level networking is networking with value and also paying the price to go where they are. The average man will not leave Enugu State to network with somebody in Abuja. He will not, but you will. Because that is how kings do it. All right? So I hope that helps you.
Thank you very much, sir.
All right.
So my second question is on your time.
Let's give some. Our time already up, please. Let's give somebody else. Because of the time, if I had more time, I would love to take everything. But we need to just have some people get
Good day, sir.
mileage. Yes, please.
My question is regarding what you said this afternoon about some things not being made for you as a king. You know, in your journey of becoming, in your journey of self-discovery, if you're experiencing some delays like that have lasted, what do you think is the fastest route to discovering your path and developing yourself?
Okay, so you have to first of all realize that a large part of who you are is the environment. All right? First thing you have to do is to get into an environment of people that are on your same journey. It's not going to be always easy. Even though we're here in Enugu, I don't know much about Enugu environs, but there's this thing I tell when people ask me this question in Lagos. Sometimes I tell young people, when maybe you grow up in a particular place, different areas of a city have specific, what we call vibrations, mindsets, cultures. For you who is trying to change your life, there are some parts of the city you have no business living in. I then go on to say that if maybe due to condition, you cannot leave. Let me use Lagos terms because I know Lagos very well. If due to condition you cannot get out of Ojo-Elegba, at least on Sundays, do not go to churches in Ojo-Elegba. Do what you got to do and go to the churches in VI. The people there think different. The people there behave different. The people there are living a culture that you aspire to. Be friends with them. Be in their midst. Spend as much time as you can in those environments. Then you can go back. That's the beginning. All right? You will be in contact with people that are thinking the way that you wish to think. Okay? As a man thinketh in his heart, so you see, maybe you live around people who speak a certain way that you don't identify with. We all come from different backgrounds. But one of the things you can do is to get into environments where people think this way. Then don't just be sitting down there. Start to act in that way as well. Okay? You got up, you held the bike, you asked the question. Good. When I was in university and I was getting over shyness, one of the things I used to do was that whenever the lecturer asked the question, whether I knew the answer or not, I would raise my hand. It didn't make sense to everybody else, but I knew what I was doing. I was getting comfortable with public scrutiny. They didn't understand that even when I would stand up, I'm shaking there, but I'm getting used to it. I'm trying to overcome it. And over time, okay? One principle I learned in life is that continuous exposure to somebody's expression of excellence will quicken your own unique expression of excellence. That is why when you are around someone that is funny, you start becoming funny too. Not that you are copying their jokes, but that part of your brain responsible for connecting words to form humor is being stimulated every time you are around them. So when you leave their presence, one day you just put the words together in a fun and be like, that was actually funny. All right? It's the same thing with excellence. It's the same thing with eloquence. If you're around people who are not that fastidious about grammar, your standards will drop. And Kechi, where this thing, you too, your standards will drop. You too, you want to speak for comprehension, so you will water down your own good grammar. Right? But when you hang around people to whom that is their default culture, you'll feel more at home and you'll get better. Sometimes if you could just miss Yan and they'll correct you. Oh no, it's not this word, it's this word. You get better. The Bible says, he that walks with the wise shall be as wise. Okay, so environment. Amen. Each single question is a whole sermon on its own. Okay, just hand the mic to the lady at the back and then the gentleman at the front here. Don't say me, I know Sabi talk for 5 minutes. Long workshops. All right, lady.
Good day or good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Okay, I have 2 questions.
Please, one.
Don't worry. The first one is, do you have a PA? How can I apply? So can I help you manage your time?
That will not be question. na application.
As I say, how can I apply? Because a lot of us here, I'm sure I'm speaking for a lot of us, will benefit from your mentorship program. So you say you don't have time. Well, I know that there is time, it's just that we have to fix it is a problem. But I can do that for you, I don't mind.
Second question.
Second question is, okay, for someone who is fresh out of the corporate world and wants to venture into entrepreneurship, like, what do we do? Like, how do we start? What is the first step?
That's a very good question. I appreciate that question. Because a lot of people just jump into it and don't ask what's the first step. King Solomon was very savage in his writings. He's always calling people fools. A fool this, a fool that. Anyway, he said, the toil of a fool wearies him out because he knows not how to enter a city. So just a toil, because so it's a good thing you're asking about the map. All right? One of the major things, again, I always talk about the Europeans because they colonized us. And because they colonized us, they rewrote even our own rules. So everything that causes Nigeria to work was written by them. Our judicial system, our legal system, immigrations, even the way that we drive, military, political system, everything. And then the rules of commerce as well have changed. And I always say that this is why a lot of indigenous Nigerians struggle in the modern world. If you were living in the world of pre-1960, maybe you would have flourished. Because you don't know it, but you are running on 1960 rules. You haven't realized that things have changed into the structure of the colonizer. And so if you are going to excel in that world, you should be sitting in their seats and reading from their textbooks. That is why I did a research one time on some Nigerian billionaires. One thing I found in common with them was that there was a point where they were doing just okay, but the time they actually took off was when they took their first international trip. When they went there and saw how the white man was doing it, they were like, oh, I see. When they came back here, it was like bringing a machine gun to a fight where your competitors are using bow and arrow. And they dominated. I have a number of examples. So the first thing is education. Everybody needs education. And so that's why yesterday I emphasized try your best to get an MBA. Even though I understand the impracticality of that for a lot of people here. So that's why I said, okay, if you have the money, please get an MBA. If you don't have the money, go for at least maybe an executive program. They have executive programs they do. Lagos Business School at least has that. If you still cannot, there are some you can get online. It won't give you the full experience because one of the benefits of getting an MBA is the alumni network. Right? I've spoken at Lagos Business School about 5 times. And every time I go there to teach, As I'm speaking, you are hearing the other things that I also do. It's a very full life. So every time I go to speak, it's usually young students. But one of the times I went there to speak, it was a train-the-trainer program. I wasn't told beforehand. I just went there and I was the youngest person in the class. And that was even the time when I had my yellow hair. I had my yellow-colored hair. So when I came into the lecture room, they were looking at me like I was even too young to be a student, Seth. Because these were lecturers at EDCs. EDCs are entrepreneurship development centers all across the country. So the federal government through the BOI, Bank of Industry, was training all the EDCs in digital entrepreneurship. So all of them came, professors them, and I was their lecturer. You know, even when I came to the gates, they were like, "Hello, sir, are you a student?" I said, "I'm a lecturer." So when I got into the class, I spoke, I taught. I mean, I'm really good at what I do. And everybody loved it. They were coming to say, "Oh, please, I need to mentor my son. He's in the UK studying supply chain management. He has to learn from you." Like, if I was just a student, the gravity of those people in the room right there would have been a fantastic network. But I was even coming as a lecturer, so you can imagine when all these people look up to you, right? The network in that room was very powerful, right? So that's the main benefit of business school. Knowledge, yes, but the network, being in that room where everybody else is paying that kind of money to learn about business, that network is invaluable, okay? So that's one. But if you don't have the capacity now, you can get the curriculums for free online. And I've shared them multiple times with members of my community. Some of you are my community and you've received those resources, yes? Yeah, so I also said yesterday that I'm going to share them with, okay, they put it up on the screen there. So I just made a quick Google form for those of you that want to get access to it. So if you fill this form, I'm going to email you those resources as well. And also the free Facebook marketing courses I promised a lady here that asked the first question. Yeah, so learn the rules of business. One of the rules of business that the colonizers learned is something called markets. So last year I taught a series on night school called Mastery of Markets. So a lot of times we just say, "Oh, I'm in the business of this," without trying to study what is the market size of this that I'm trying to sell. Is there a market for it? And that is why the expatriates are coming to Nigeria, because they know that Nigeria is a market for certain specific things. It's a huge market, but a market for certain specific things. You will not see them come here with the aim of, say, I can't give any examples, but they come here to sell what they know we consume. So that is called your market research. What do they consume? How do they consume it? For example, they know that Nigeria is a very good market for Ponzi schemes. They know that the people here want to reap where they did not sow. They know that the people here are not very educated to ask the best of questions. They know. They know that the regulatory framework is a bit loose. So they just come with the same template, bam, and they always clean out. They are typically not even Nigerians. Those would bring those things here. But what am I saying? They do their market research. So nobody should know your people more than you. Is what I'm saying. Don't go hopefully, what do you do? I'm into what inspired that? Just passion or what? Market first. Where is the market for this thing? All right? Then what is now the route to market? Let me tell you something. One of the things I said everybody must learn is history. Maybe one day I'll do a whole series on history. When you understand how powerful the concept of markets has been, it has started wars. There was a time, if you go to Wikipedia and Google something called the Opium Wars, there was a time when the British, back when they were the British Empire, had a free trade agreement with the Chinese. Then the Chinese were ruled by a monarchy, a king. And I said, okay, we trade freely with you, trade freely with us. Okay. Problem now was that the Chinese of that time are like the Chinese of today. They don't need anything from you. Chinese never buy. All they do is sell. It's not for kings. Oh, Lemuel, to be buying. No. We don't borrow. We say we lend to nations. They don't buy. They know that they sell. So back then, the Chinese were always selling. They had a lot of stuff that the British loved. And they were buying. But the British were like, we have things to sell now. Are you not buying from us? They say, bro, there's nothing you have that we need. He said, guy, there has to be something we have that you need. He said, we have looked at everything that you are selling to us. We can do without it. But if you want to buy what we have, you are more than welcome to buy. They said, okay, we have something. They said, what is that? He said, opium. You know what opium is? It's a hard drug. It's like cocaine. I know it sounds weird, but it was once a time that it was legal. You know, even cocaine, there was once a time where in America, if you had some, like maybe a headache, and you go to a doctor, he would offer you cocaine. Yes. That's why I say it's good for people to learn history. There's so much that formed the modern world that we don't know, and we don't know why we are struggling. Because you came to earth, but you didn't learn what this earth that they dropped me on, what is it? Do you understand? So there was a time cocaine was, so anyway, opium. Chinese king said no. Opium is a hard drug. It is addictive. We can't accept this into our lands. The British, first of all, disregarded him and tried to smuggle opium into China. The king's men found out and they burned the opium ships. The British said, what? This is a declaration of war. And they went to war. That's called the Opium Wars. And because the British had the strongest navy at the time, they beat the hell out of the Chinese until the king surrendered and signed the treaty to accept the opium. I'm telling you that wars have been fought because of markets. So when I keep on saying that you don't see yourselves the way they see you, is it making sense? They are seeing you the way they saw the Chinese market that year. All right? That's maybe a darker side of things. But it's to help you understand, before you start a business, you have to think like the people that created the new rules of business, or you will lose. You are playing a game whose rules you did not create. The least you can do is learn what those rules are. And the first rule is, what market am I serving? And when you look at the market, if there's not enough money in that market, you forget about it. I don't care how passionate you are about it. That's how they think. Why do you think multinationals, they are leaving Nigeria? Why do you think so? They've done the math. It's no longer worth it. They are gone. But you, consistency, my passion, even when it makes no sense to hold on to that passion anymore. But those that wrote the rules, they are very quick. How many products does Google create and just drop? We say that this Google product, they are sunsetting it. Skype, when did Skype shut down? This month? They're not emotional about all decisions. Is this non-productive? Is it shut it down? Market first. So what are you creating? And is there a market fit, aka product, market fit? If no, dump it. Market first approach. What does the market need? There are multiple. From all those things the market is proven to spend money on, choose a passion from there. It's the other way around. So you don't labor and slave. The way the masses do it is the other way around. They first of all pick a passion without any research and start forcing that passion on the market. What do? I don't like shady people's work. I don't like it. But have you ever seen a person that became rich in Nigeria doing spoken word poetry? I'm not talking down on it, but let's be pragmatic. People are suffering. Have you ever seen that before? Half your audience can't even hear what you are saying. If it is just your hobby, it's okay. You see Oyibo have what they do for work for business, for prosperity, and they also have hobbies, of which they know this hobby is not supposed to pay me. I just like to do it. It enriches my soul. I enjoy doing it. But the thing they do for money, they don't mess with it. So the thing you are doing, you might find out that it's just a hobby. It classifies as hobby. But what you do for money, don't play. Go hard, go deep with knowledge. Over the years, you will gain experience, gain alliances, all right? Understand branding, understand design, all right? Understand staffing. Be very prudent with it. There was a lady I was speaking to yesterday, and maybe some of you fall into that category. I said, well, what do you do? She's in church here. She said she makes shoes. Lovely, fantastic, but I know you will not get rich doing that. So I feel led to impose upon you, this thing you do is lovely, but what happens when you are sick? Production stops. How will you get rich? Why don't you figure out how to this is your nice shoe design, send it to China. All the Igbo businessmen that you are admiring, they have been doing the same thing for decades. They don't have 10 heads. Get your nice shoe design, send it to China. Tell them, mass produce this, put my name on it. Who has a power bank here? Lift up your power bank, please. Lift it up. Where do you think it came from? See, I'm going to be very delicate with it because some of these things I'm saying and the way I'm saying it to you, I wish when I was 15, somebody said these things to me. Things I discovered, I think, when I started turning 30, which I consider late. You know, if you are younger than me, you will consider it to be late. If you are older than me, you consider it to be early. But me, I consider it to be late because, all those years, I was a website designer. Somebody told me, John Obidi, you don't know a single rich website designer. I was in my mid-20s then. I dumped it. I can still do it as a lovely hobby. But what I do for money, bro, I don't play. It's not for kings to fly economy. I'm sorry, it's me that wrote that version. You understand? And the kind of way I like to live and travel, it requires a certain level of industriousness, diligence, and pragmatism. And that is what guides my decisions. That is what should guide your decisions as early as possible. I was making a joke about Cristiano Ronaldo's daughter. It's a publicly available clip online where he told her, oh, what would you like to do? And she was doing this, like photography. And he just corrected her with smiles. Netflix producer. Because actually they were on a Netflix show at the time. She said, you'll be a Netflix producer. Makes sense, because her mom was a Netflix show producer. How will your mother be producing a Netflix show and you will now be holding a camera? It is not for kings. Yeah? So that is the way that we think. Now, you need to just, over time, it may not be overnight. You're just starting to think in this way. Keep on exposing yourself to this way of thinking. Surround yourself with people that think like that. I was very impressed sitting there and I saw that you guys have a business roundtable or something virtually. Fantastic. Surround yourself with people that think like that. You put forces together, join knowledge together, and you build something you are proud of. All right? In time, you are the one that will be sponsoring people here, to go for training abroad. I remember the first time I saw people applying for Mandela Washington Fellowship. My dream was that I would be able to sponsor people to go and do something like that. Not to be chosen. I didn't have money, but my dream wasn't to be chosen to go abroad for a program. My dream was that one day I'll be able to write off checks to allow young Nigerians to go and do such things that their circumstances normally would never have allowed them. I wanted to be that way. That's the way we think. And it cuts across business, life, our standards, the things we demand of ourselves, and in return, we also demand of life. Okay? All right. Make we close. I've preached multiple sermons here. All right. Have I helped you? All right. Timekeeper, do we still have time for any questions? Because I'm at your service, so it's not me that is tired. I can do it for 10 hours. I'm at your discretion. Okay, this lady has been raising her hand. Please try and make it very brief. Let me just cut. And then the gentleman in front here wants to ask a question. Pleasure.
Now, for someone that wants to go into media, that is helping brands to penetrate the market, have a stable social media presence and all that, what is the right approach to use to enter the market?
Okay, for somebody who what?
Who wants to go into media, helping businesses to gain publicity, present their businesses online.
Target who has money. All right?
Okay.
Helping businesses. How much money do those businesses make? This is part of the market research. Got it? Have you seen a rich social media strategist before? Have you ever seen a rich social media manager? No. However, you'll find people who create a digital agency. Who do they target? Not small businesses. They target companies, corporates. So because of that, they have a different structure. So when they are doing a particular media strategy for like a bank or an FMCG, it's for millions. You don't waste time with so-called SMEs that are still trying to figure out their bearing. How many of you do digital media for SMEs here? Who does digital media or any services to SMEs here? Who does? Who serves SMEs here? Okay, because my follow-up question is, how's that going well for you? So you were right not to raise your hand. How's that going well for you? If there's anything you can take away from my conversation here, is ruthless pragmatism. Ruthless pragmatism. See, it's not me. Now the Oyibo, we colonize us, change the way we live naturally. The average Nigerian is not indigenously suited to this current system of capitalism. It's not our way. However, being that as it is, this is the system of the world today. The old way of thinking will not help you. You have to think according to the way this system was created. And it was created with certain principles. Where is the money? Unfortunately, you may have been raised not to even talk about the money. Don't talk about the money. Just do it first. The money will... No. We even know they think like that. Where is the money? When they know where the money is, they start working. These are not things that they will say in public. But if you go to business school, you will hear it. That's why I like shouting about business school. You can do it in person, lovely. But even the online version will help you start thinking about how these people are thinking. When you apply that thinking to your local environment, what? You will dominate. Okay? So, this thing you are doing, visibility, small businesses, who told you they want visibility? Did they tell you they wanted visibility? You know these things you give to Nigerians where they love it only when it's free? How many of you do coaching online? No, it's good. I also do coaching. How many of you do coaching online? Raise your hand. Right? Okay. How many of you you share content online? People are double tapping. Oh, yes, we love this. They are commenting. We love it. Whoa, amazing. Wow, so great. Amazing. Wow. Do an event. We'll come. Da, 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 da. The day you post your flyer for your paid program, silence. They wonder, now the algorithm, only 2 likes. You see Nigerians, they don't want it to be that they clicked like and they did not buy. So the reasoning is that if I can act like I did not see it, let's say this is a post here, they will just I've been at this game for a while, though. I know the way the market thinks. Before it starts thinking, there are things I wouldn't touch, right? So, who told you they even wanted visibility? But those that want visibility, they are there. However, they need you to show up a certain way as an agency. There's one work I did some years ago for a bank. Their own is that they needed me to submit not my personal details, they needed me to submit a company account they could pay my money into. It wasn't even like proper agency work. It was training. They called me to train their staff at one of the banks. But the way they did their thing is that they needed me to send in a company account that had been paying taxes for the last 2 years. Again, these are not things you hear out there in the open until you experience it. So I needed to submit tax clearance documents just for me to be registered in the system so that the bank could pay me for training their staff. So there's a structure you need to have. You must be properly registered, do your tax clearance, everything in compliance, then you target the big fish. Now, the reason why some of us don't do this thing I'm saying now is that sometimes we feel inadequate and we feel reluctant to polish ourselves to the standard that they demand. Because when you are going to the big fish, you will have to come and present your ideas not orally, or rather not verbally. You need to make a presentation, a slide deck. You may not know how to make a slide deck, so you hold yourself back. So there's a re-education you need to have to be able to attract those big clients. Not SMEs, there's no money there. Anybody here who works with SMEs, you know that the retention rate is very low. I can tell you even before you agree, it is true. There's this running joke in Lagos. They say the average lifespan of an SME is how many years? 2 years. So the joke is that it's because rent for the shop is 2 years. Have I helped you? All right. This gentleman has been trying to ask a question, please.
Thank you, Mr. John, for a very impactful weekend. I was here yesterday. There was a lot I learned. I'm always someone who likes to look at something from the foundation. You know, I'm an engineer by training, so analysis is always how I approach issues. So, for small businesses, are there any frameworks or methods that you can suggest as the way they can identify unmet needs of people or pain points of people that can actually help them build products maybe ideas they have? How can they actually identify pain points that can help them generate ideas that they can actually bring out as products? Thank you.
Thank you. You see, Nigeria, one thing I like about Nigerian markets, you don't need to be super intelligent to make money in Nigeria. This is not a place where you spend too much money doing market research. Our problems are plenty and very visible. The thing now is that when you discover the problem, can you attack it the way, not a small business, a big business would? Small businesses will be eaten up. They don't survive. You must attack it like a big business. Let me tell you an open secret, something that you know in the back of your mind, but you need somebody to say out loud, and I'll say it out loud, which is that, how many times have you heard that many innovative Nigerians are afraid to start something innovative? Because the minute you just start, somebody with more money would come and run you out. Have you heard that before? Oh, yes. Now, what does that tell you? Do not be a small business. I don't make the rules. I only explain them. It is not for kings. Oh, Lemuel, to be an SM. Oh, yes. Oh, but we love SMEs. The president is going to come on television and tell you that SMEs are the backbone of the economy. So the SMEs have my eternal gratitude for being the backbone of the economy. We appreciate their sacrifice and their labor of love. But like the hip-hop philosopher Jay-Z once said, I can't help the poor if I'm one of them. So, Pain points are easy to address. But do you have the discipline? And the third factor of production, capital. To solve the problems at scale. You solve the problems for 2-3 people, you will earn the wages of 2-3 people. Can you solve the problems at scale? Listen, we've been using power banks for a long time in this country. But how many of you know Oraimo? Everybody around the country knows Oraimo. Why? They didn't solve the problem like an SME would. SMEs have been solving the problem of power banks by doing mini importation. Actually, I taught a mini importation class a long time ago in 2017. So I know the business. You were in that class, 2017. Wow. You don't say. I taught a class. I brought in one of the best experts in mini importation. Yes. Came, did the class. So I know the business. So people have been doing mini importation for years. You don't have to go to China. Just go online to Alibaba or 1688. Or there's even one set that year called DH Gate. Make the order, it comes in. But when it comes into Nigeria, it's unbranded. So they just sell at power bank. It's a commodity. And the local Igbo trader, the local businessman doesn't really care about those things. He has not been educated on the power of branding. But somebody locally here went and took the white man's knowledge, the white man's magic, and learned if you just put a name on this thing, it changes the value perception. And they just come, who are the biggest influencers that all these masses respect? 1, 2, 3. Take money, take money, take money. Hold my product and pose with it. Boom. They've rented space in your head. Now everybody knows Oraimo. I can bet you that if anybody here needs a power bank, you will likely ask for Oraimo. It's not even logical because is it that Oraimo power banks are better than the other ones? The answer is that we don't know really. You need to be a scientist to now go and start testing. But we just assume because it is branded. But an SME will not think of branding. They want the easiest way out. You see why I was advising my sister here that asked me about white labeling, right? Everybody else they import from China. Very few white label. How many of you see the big businesses in Nigeria that have their own like essential oils, spa equipment? Where do you think it comes from? Air fresheners or candles, hair brushes. Where does it come from? But they will put their name on it. It's an Instagram handle after that brand name. It now becomes memorable. When you have one experience, one good experience with that product, it's etched into your memory and tied to the name on that brand. Next time you want that experience, you would ask for that brand name. That unbranded power bank that you are carrying, when you lose it, how do you get back that same experience? There's no way because it has no name. So you just go to the next shop and be like, please give me power bank. But if the name on that power bank was Unduka, and I really lasted, it was tough, maybe you lost it somewhere or gave it away as a gift. When you want a new one, you would ask for, even if you are not in town, you ask, please help me buy that Unduka one. That way you get the logo be like this. And that's the power of branding. But only someone who is educated into this system would get it. And small businesses are not capable of that currently. Which is why they only last for 2 years. It's been a running thing, 2 years. But those who can master the problems plenty. Just look at SMEs and the problems they are solving. They are solving actual problems, but poorly. But they are solving it well, but not at scale. Maybe everybody here has the problem. They only have capacity to solve it for 3 people. When you see the trajectory, just solve it for everybody else here. These guys will just pack up. It's unfortunate, but that's the way the business works. Yeah. So I wouldn't advise anybody to think like an SME. The only reason the government and all these people that write books help talk about SMEs is because they help to stimulate the economy. Doesn't mean they'll be rich, but all their petty activities help to stimulate the economy. So they'll be hailing them. And me too, I join in hailing them. but I'm not one of them. It's not for kings to do that work. But if you do it, dignity in labor. But it is not. So how do SMEs? It is to not be an SME or not think like an SME. It's not to try to capture value as an SME. No. We go for the biggest share, the biggest piece of the pie. Yeah? And solve it at scale. But when you finish, you expand, go and solve it in Ghana. You are expand and go and solve it in Rwanda. Conquer Anglophone Africa. Start looking for the way they think, emerging markets. That's how to do it. Thank you. I think they say we have just one more question we can take. Let's see. I see everybody's not bringing up their hands. I did not have their hands up at the same time. Okay, we have someone from the front. I think we've neglected the southwest zone. So let's take someone from that end.
All right. Thank you, sir, for this opportunity. Thank you, everyone. So my question is from yesterday's session. So you were talking about the classes or the sets of people. You talked about the elites and you talked about the poor. But you didn't talk about the rich. Yes. So I would like if you would throw a bit more light on that.
The rich?
Yes.
The rich is the elite, actually.
Okay. But okay.
Yeah, I was just trying to be, people get sensitive when I say rich and poor. So as I type, I say the elites and the others. But it's the same thing I'm trying to talk about. Okay, yes, let's hear you.
Good afternoon, everybody, and good afternoon to you, sir. Sorry for that acoustics, like you would say. So, in all of your mentions, I haven't heard you say anything about real estate. And if so, I'd like to know if your knowledge covers this field, and how do you think kings will do it differently in Nigeria, looking into the future? And I've learned a lot of all the things you've been teaching, but I've hardly heard real estate in your mention. So I'd like to know if you've come across, being that you're well-traveled, if you've come across knowledge about real estate and how kings can actually do it going forward in Nigeria. That's my question. Thank you.
Okay. So if you look at the sectors in Nigeria that make the most money, right? Real estate is not quite on that list. Not that there's no money in real estate. The real money is in what is done on that real estate. All right? So agriculture is major. It is done on top real estate. I remember when I was doing this Q&A on my Instagram, and I put up something. Someone said that she was into, I think, I was just telling her that whatever she was doing would not make her rich, that a Nigerian farmer has a better chance. Somebody else responded to me and said that what I'm saying is true, that she knows a family friend that just last year exported 800 million naira worth of maize. Just one crop, maize. But I say, you see this whole money matter, it's like, it be like confra. Unless you are inside, you can only imagine what's going on inside. Until they tell you, you cannot know, right? So the big deal about real estate is what goes on that real estate. Everybody is so focused on selling the land and getting the commission. The wealthiest Nigerians make their money based on what is done on that land. For example, either they're extracting something, or they build a manufacturing plant on there, or building and construction, civil engineering. Do you know how much people make as civil engineers? People who supply the cement. Does Dangote do real estate? No. But maybe for himself. But I'm saying his main revenue is what? Cement. For the construction that happens on that land. Now that money runs into a lot of money. All right? So real estate, yeah. I don't know much about Nigerian real estate. I know more about Dubai real estate because I live mostly in the Middle East. But Nigeria, the money spinner really, and the one that people don't look at, I don't know why, is in the activity that happens on it. Has anybody thought about supplying building materials? Yes? And if he's raising his hand, he'll probably tell you that there is mad money there. But it is not glamorous money, so people don't look in that direction. And those that make money doing that are usually quiet. Very quiet. There are people in this country that are minting money. The reason they are quiet is that they maybe just by mistake even stumbled upon it. Say like, this thing is only profitable because y'all don't know about it. You see, they will drive one small car, live in one humble house. How is everything now? We are managing. Yeah? So, and this thing I'm saying, all you have to do is just go to ChatGPT and ask ChatGPT. Just say, Nigeria is one of Africa's wealthiest economies. Why? In what sectors does money circulate the most? It will list it out for you. So while everybody is fighting over, selling, how much is the commission, Seth? No, how much is the commission? Everybody chases the same dream as a real estate agent. You are chasing the dream. There's an event I spoke at in Abuja. A lady said, how do I blow up as a real estate agent? I said, okay. I'm very free in smaller conversations, so I don't spoil work for other people. Who's a real estate agent here? A few of us. Okay. Now they fear now. Okay, you are. That's okay. No, it's okay. It's okay. But let me give you another dimension. You see, how many of you have heard that the highest paying job in the world is sales? So you all do sales, right? Right? That's basically, as a real estate agent, you are basically in the job of sales. And they are right. But if you are the highest paying job, you are selling a property. For who? For who? How much do you think he makes from your labor? He is richer than you because he is a bigger salesman. What is he selling? The dream. He's selling you on the dream. Go out there. I will make you fishers of men. Go out there, sell this land, and you will make a commission. It sells. And she said, how can I blow? I said, you can't blow up doing this. You'll be comfortable. Yes. No, you'll be comfortable. But if you want to blow up, I need you to go and do the same thing that your guy is doing, which is recruiting other dreamers to go and sell your dream. I don't make the rules. I just explain them. The rich person in your real estate company is your guy. And he is rich because he knows how to sell a dream. See, I teach all these things on night school. If you're on night school, I've told you at some point that the captains of our civilization don't need to be extra creative. They copy their life strategy from the God of the Old Testament. Have you heard me say that before? They're not Christians, so I don't even know whether they are copying it consciously or it's unconscious. But if you read and study the Old Testament God, not the New Testament one, the Old Testament God, the power centers of this world just copy his attributes. When you read the story of Genesis, when it says, and God created the heavens and the earth. How did God create the heavens and the earth? Words. What do words represent? Because the Genesis story was not graphic, it's left to our imagination. So we tend to think like Harry Potter, like abracadabra, when someone says a word and some magic happens. But that's our imagination. It's not exactly what was there. If you read the constant theme of the Old Testament God, he carries out things by giving instructions. He never does anything himself. Never. Even in one of the book of 1 Kings or so, where God was trying to kill King Ahab, it says he called a meeting, called a conference of all the sons of God I said, this Ahab, his own is too much. I want to kill this guy, but make it look natural. So I want all you guys to brainstorm and give me the best suggestion on how to take this guy out. And the story says, this one came and said this one came and said that. And one finally came and said, I have the best suggestion. And when he gave a suggestion, he said, it makes sense. Go and do it. You will succeed. God never did anything himself. He was always sending people on errands. When Daniel prayed for 21 days, did God appear to him? How did the answer come? Angel Gabriel. Which is why in the New Testament, when Jesus met the centurion whose daughter was sick, he said, okay, I'm going to come to your house. He said, no. I'm also a man with authority. I tell this one, go, and he goes. This one, come, and he comes. I'm assuming that you spiritual people work under the same principles, yes? So you send the word, and I'm sure it will work the same way. And they said Jesus was like, wow. Jesus was like, are y'all seeing this? He said, I've been hanging around you peasants for this long, and I've never seen such initiative. Such initiative is coming from a Roman. Right? So if you look at the pattern of the Old Testament God, he's always sending. It is not for kings to touch, give instructions. Your boss gets it. Because I'm glad it's a smaller congregation. Some people go to vex for this guy. He gets it. He sent his word. He's sending people, go, and he goes. Come, and he comes. He will never go and be marketing his own property. Occasionally, he will discuss about it on certain levels, but the way to do it is to get people. So real estate, figure out how he got what he has, how he gets the deals that he gets. It's not going to be easy, but that's what kings do. It's not going to happen overnight, but that's what kings build up to. The only acceptable level of real estate for such people is on that level. They will never be somebody else's salesman. Sorry, it's a bit. If you people were the kind of audience that could take all the pandering and soft talk, they wouldn't have invited me. They said me, are they given a hot as the way they be. This is the way the world works. Somebody once said the best study of life, Jim Rohn, he said the best study of life is not on how we wish it to be, but it's on how it is. That's the way it is. You can live an okay existence as a real estate agent. You'll be fine. You will never drive his car. And I know we all have those dreams. Every Nigerian has those dreams. I've had those dreams ever since I was a child. Everybody I know has similar dreams. All right? But there is a way. Solomon said, the toil of a fool. We're not fools in Jesus' name. But, he just stay a fool. There's nobody that wrote it. People said the toil of a fool, does what it wearies him out. Toil. There's a difference between toil and hard work. Toil is sorrowful. Going round in circles, round in circles, but because he knows not the way to the city. So find the way to the city. Fortunately or unfortunately, it will involve you getting people to now start doing what you once did. That's the way of the world. Amen? Have I helped you? All right. Thank you very much, guys.
Please, another round of applause for him. If you've been blessed. Wow, wow, wow.